Hello, this is Adam Beanstock on this rainy day. I'd like to talk about my compositions. Some while ago, I set this poem to music. It's called Serendipity Corner, and it was a very touching poem. I thought it was on Facebook, and there's a friend of mine who lost her husband, and I thought whether it's appropriate or not, I don't know, but it's such a lovely poem. I'll read it to you. When I die, give what's left of me away to children and old men that wait to die. And if you need to cry, cry for your brother. Walk in the street beside you, and when you need me, put your arms around anyone and give to them what you need to give to me. I want to leave you something better than words or sounds. Look for me in the people I've known or loved, and if you cannot give me away, at least let me live in your eyes and not on your mind. You can love me most by letting hands touch hands, by letting bodies touch bodies, and by letting go of children that need to be free. Love doesn't die, people do. So when all that's left of me is love, give me away. It's such a lovely poem, you know. It just says it all. But I wrote this, you know, and I wrote it out, and think, I know it's no good, but you know, I wrote it in shorthand. I'm not going to play it ever again because it's causing too much upset. Because I mean, that poem, why can't someone compose something decent for it? You know, nice bit of music for it, and so you wouldn't have to put up with my rubbish, which I took a long time and thought to compose. But I will in this, even though that was a stupid thing to do, write something on that sensitive issue, making a lovely poem not so good. I actually wrote something that doesn't have a poem, and it was some years ago, and it was a time when Benjamin Britten was current, my music teacher then. It was at Lewis, Keith Brooks his name was, and I had composition lessons, and I continued on at Trinity College of Music, and then I wrote this. He said, well, you know, they said, Alan, you know, you write tunes, yeah, write good tunes and things, you know, I can do conventional things, so why don't you try and do what you call new music, which to me it seems, you know, it started off in the 1920s, you know, with Stravinsky's Rite of Spring, then you had Schoenberg, John Cage, and all these and Anton Berg, isn't it, and all these composers. Well, then you had Sostakovich and Britten and Prokofiev and Gustav Holst, which did both. They did conventional music and the new music was going into their music. So they experimented in different things, and I think this new music thing in classical music sort of came about in the 1920s, I would say. It was because of the harsh conditions of World War One and World War Two as well. But the actual new music, actually, the idea of tone rows and breaking away from conventional music started actually in the 19th century. And I mean, that's hard to believe, isn't it? But I mean, it all started with Beethoven's Eroica Symphony. With the horn coming in out of time, with the first subject to the first movement, and the development section where these very harsh discords and a great, thump, which was sort of music was very new to the time, was very revolutionary, and also you had Franz Liszt, who actually invented the tone row, and he used that, so it was innovated. He was very innovative, and also, believe it or not, Giuseppe Verdi dabbled in whether he was thinking of King Lear, which he never completed, but the Mad King, but he experimented with the enigmatic scale, which is very very rarely performed. It's the part of the one of his last compositions. I think it was in about 1897, just before his death, in 1901. Was the four sacred pieces, the Ave Maria, but often the Ave Maria is left out because it's very very difficult to perform because it's all based on this scale. I don't know what. I don't know what the actual enigmatic scale is, but it's something like that. And of course it's contrapuntal. All the different voices come in, and then there's a lot of clashes of harmony as it comes in, and in the same way that Sostakovich or Britten would compose. It's not how the melodies are presented; it's how their melodies clash with each other. I mean, say for instance, the Carol for Choirs by Benjamin Britten. You got a simple harp and a solo singer starting in G major. And I said, oh, that's fine. Yeah, it's a lovely little song, lovely melody, very simple. And then as the singer carries on with different verses, the harp actually modulates into A flat and then ends up in A major at the same time, as the singer still sings in G major. And that produces a very subtle, very weird effect. It sounds really strange. And it's almost disturbing. What is going on? And it takes a lot of skill to perform it. So I'm going to play one of my compositions. It's the first movement of a which I scored for. Well, it's not a string quartet. It's like a flute quartet with I've got the string players. I've got a cello, viola, second violin, and the first, instead of having the first violin, I've got a flute, because that's what I had available in the composition. And it goes like this, my composition. So, which I got commended for and everything, but this is only the first movement of it. there we are. And then I think someone turned around and said, "Oh, that's atmospheric, isn't it?" I think that was the comment I got anyway. So if anyone's interested, my ideas of composition and what I've got to say in music, I think if everyone's got something to say, say it. You know, people ignore me. I know I've got something to say. I've got it. I've got it on tape. I've got it on YouTube, and I think everyone has something to say. Don't be shy of having something to say. And I think it's a good way of expressing yourself through composition. But if you're if you're not up to standard in your playing, you can do it through composition, getting other people to play your notes and your composition. Anyway, so that I'm going to leave you for now. So hopefully someone will get something from this, and hope to speak to you soon.